Hey everyone, this is Mike, and yesterday not only did we get the preliminary patch notes for patch 5.2, but we also got a new article about Naoki Yoshida talking about some stuff about Final Fantasy XIV. And one of the two major things that people took away from that is that patch 5.3 will not have a next ultimate as well as no deep dungeon. In a few videos ago, I talked about where the next deep dungeon might be, when it might come out, looking at previous expansions, and usually the 0.3x patch is where those deep dungeons came out. So we were kind of expecting a new one, since the setup is already kind of there. I thought it would be in the Crystal Tower. Some other people pointed out it could be in the Ronkon Ruins back in Raktika, which made so much more sense. So when looking at it, it was kind of almost set in stone that it would be there. But in this interview, he made sure to let us know that there won't be a deep dungeon just yet. It's on pause for now, to basically make place for other content. And the same thing goes for Ultimate. Now, there will still be a second Ultimate at this expansion, but it most likely won't come in 5.2. If it is going to come, it is going to come a lot later. And at first, a lot of people were a little bit like, well, it's kind of weird, you did two back-to-back in Stormblood and then gave us some time to basically rest before the next expansion came out. But on the other hand, I actually do quite like this, since they are putting a big focus on the relic weapon again as well. Apparently there is going to be a second Baldessian Arsenal-like style dungeon in this new Eureka for the relic weapon as well. So I can kind of see why they would do this, because now it basically makes it so that even the hardcore raiders can focus on their relic, go through all of that, grind it out, without also having to juggle that between the ultimate raids. Because usually if you're ultimate raiding, and say for example you're also still having a job, you're going to school, something like that, you might not have as much time to spend to play the game. And then if you are doing ultimate raids, you're most likely going to be spending most of your free time doing that, because ultimate is a very big time consumption for most groups. So them saying okay, you can focus on the relic first and then we'll bring out ultimate later, also makes something else very good, and that is the fact that normally after patch 5.5, I guess you could say, there isn't really much content anymore, and for most people that is kind of where they unsub from the game for a longer period of time, say 3-4 months, and then they come back when the expansion hits, or a week before the expansion hits or something like that, to kind of warm up again to the game. But usually, once you reach that end of the expansion content lull, there isn't much to do anymore, and I think them shifting the next ultimate towards this place is going to be really good, not only to basically create content for the hardcore raiding scene, so that they don't feel like there's nothing for them to do anymore, because Savage will come out in 5.4, they clear that, and then maybe they do the next 24-man and then just call it a day once they've gotten their new primal mount or something like that. Because if I look back at Stormblood, I did the final primal a few times. Once I got my mount, I was like, well, I'm done. I don't need gear anymore. I don't need to do the 24-man. I'm just done with the game for now, basically. And I don't think I sub because I have a house that I want to keep, but I didn't really play the game anymore. But if there would be a next ultimate at that final patch that I can spend 4, 5, 6 weeks on, then the time in between that patch hitting and the next expansion coming out is going to feel a lot more lively. And it's not only for the hardcore raiding scene that this is going to be good, it's even going to be good for more midcore or casual players, or casual raiders I should say, because of course not everybody raids in this game, but it's basically going to give something that they should try as well. I know some of my friends that are very casual players that are interested in Ultimate, but that never really get to do it because they spend all their time doing Savage. And when, for example, the Ultimate comes out and basically the last big patch of the expansion, it means that for the next 6-7 months, those people, once they're done with Savage, also maybe have some time to spend doing the Ultimate. And I think Ultimate encounters, even though they're really hard, and even though as a casual player you will probably not clear them, being able to spend time in there and maybe clearing a few of the phases or something like that is a pretty cool experience, and not just to improve as a player or whatever, but Ultimate fights are incredibly cool fights, so I definitely recommend people to just try them out. Even if you can't clear them, just try them, because it is quite the experience on itself, and I wouldn't be the player I am today if I had never set foot into Ultimate, so I'm really happy I did that. I'm definitely going to keep doing that because Ultimate is some of my favorite content in the game, and maybe it will pique the interest of some other people as well to maybe play this game a little bit more rather than the other game that they're playing or something, to put some time into Ultimate as well. So that's why I kind of think that the shift of Ultimate is quite alright. It means that when the relic weapons come out, I'm going to be able to put my time into the relic, and then if there is other Baldessian Arsenal style content coming out in 5.3 or something like that, because they basically now took two big pieces of content, that being the Deep Dungeon and the Ultimate Raid, that would normally be in 5.3 and either delayed it or just stopped it completely when we look at the Deep Dungeon. So we basically have two big pieces of content that is now missing from 5.3 that now is going to get a replacement in 5.3 as well, because of course they're not just like, well, we're scrapping all of this, you're not gonna get as much content in the patch. No, it's just going to be different content. And if I look back on Eureka, when Eureka first started out, with Animos it was quite fun, Pagos and Pyros not as much, but then Hydatos was really cool with the Baldessian Arsenal, and seeing how they've already gave some hints that they want to do a new Baldessian Arsenal, they want to do a new Eureka styled relic again, I can kind of see how they could make some really cool piece of content in 5.3 as well, and seeing how they also again cut that second dungeon out of our even numbered patches as well. I'm pretty interested to see what new content they are going to be bringing to this game, if they are going to be delaying the other stuff, because I am all for new content, I am all for new experiences, so I'm just pretty interested to see what it is going to be that is going to be replacing these two big pieces of content, and then I'll still get to enjoy them later down the line. Maybe no Deep Dungeon this expansion, but at least we'll still get that second Ultimate, which will then of course satisfy our hardcore raiding scene, and then hopefully, since it is the end of the expansion, once the casual and mid-core raiders are done with Savage as well, maybe they'll hop into Ultimate and give that a shot as well, because it is just a beautiful piece of content and I definitely recommend everybody to go and check it out. But that's pretty much going to be it for me. That's kind of what I wanted to talk about in this video, kind of share that this is going to happen, I guess you could say, and that I'm pretty much looking forward to the other stuff that we're going to be getting in 5.3, and that I don't really mind this change, because I think getting Ultimate in the final patch is probably going to be a lot better for a healthier raiding scene and that kind of stuff as well. But that's it for me. Hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you in the next one.